Is the Jetta Gli fun to drive? So before you can really answer if the car is fun to drive or not, you need to have a little bit of context. So the first piece of context is the car that I'm coming from. Before I had this car, I had just a regular degular car. It was a 2016 Chevy Malibu. It was a pretty decent car, I'm not gonna lie. It also had turbo just like this car, but the engine was smaller. It was a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo. This one is a 2.0 turbo with a 4-cylinder. And at the time, to me, being my first car, it did feel pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty quick driver. Like I don't go crazy, but I'm not like a slow driver either, just to be honest. So switching to this, which is like the faster version of a regular car, the Volkswagen Jetta, it definitely felt like something I would have fun with all the time. And like with my Chevy Malibu, I was still having fun. Like I said, it felt quick to me at that time. With that being said, if I were to go back to that car now, I don't think I can do it. Like, honestly, I really don't. The second piece of context is I work in a Volkswagen dealership. So I have access to drive other cars that may be quick and fast too. For example, the Volkswagen Golf R. That's a pretty quick car, and it's all-wheel drive. Like, it really just depends on what you're comparing the car to. And that's what the next part of this video is about. Another part of knowing, or not knowing, but judging whether the car is fun or not is what cars you're comparing it to. Are you comparing it to, let's say, a base model Volkswagen Jetta, like a Jetta S, Jetta SE, Jetta SEL? If you are, this car is going to be very fun, like very fun. I was just driving a Jetta SEL the other day because, like I said, I work at a dealership. I'm a car salesperson, and like that car, it just feels like a different car. Like, you can feel the difference. It is honestly not even comparable in the way they drive. This car handles a lot better. It's a lot quicker. It sounds better. It looks better. Like, it's much more fun than a regular Jetta. But if you're comparing it to something like Chevy Corvette or something like that, you might not think this is as fun. For one, those are rear-wheel drive cars versus this is a front-wheel drive car. Honestly, I think rear-wheel drive cars are a lot more fun just because you have the ability to lose that traction. You have the ability to, which losing traction isn't always fun. Of course, if it's a snowy day and you lose traction, that's not going to be a fun situation, right? But if it's a situation where you lose traction, like you're going around a corner real quick and the wheels start spinning, like that can be pretty fun. The ability to, be able to drift or do things like that. With that being said, there are a few other cars you can compare it to that might be fun, but this car might be a little bit more fun to you. Like if you're driving a Honda Civic Si, for example. I've driven one of those. They're pretty fun, but I honestly think the Jetta Gli is a little bit more fun. So like I said, it really just matters what cars you're comparing it to. Next up, it really also depends on your expectations. So this car has pretty good handling. Like if you're going around a corner, you can take it pretty quick and you're not gonna have, no type of big issues. You know what I mean? This is not that type of car that if you take it around a corner real quick, you're gonna slide into a tree. It's not that car. On the other hand, it's not, a Porsche where you can just go around a super tight turn at like 90 miles per hour and expect everything to be fine. It's not that car. While we're on the topic of handling, let's talk about these tires. The tires that come on this car stock are complete garbage. Like I don't know why they would even think to put these tires on this car. It doesn't make sense at all. They need a better brand of tires, and they need wider tires. So if you do replace the tires for some wider tires and, you know, a better tire than the stock tire, you're gonna get more traction than you would have with the stock tires. I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but this car sucks when it comes to traction. If you're like launching, or if you even just press the pedal even slightly harder than normal when it's raining out, you're gonna get endless tire spin or wheel spin, whatever. This is not that car where you can launch it in the rain. But while we're on the topic of the word launch, something that's pretty fun about this car is that it has launch control. Launch control makes a world of difference. If you're doing any type of, you know, dig, then launch control, I mean, even if you don't feel the difference, which in this car you do, but let's just say you didn't, it still is more fun. Like, having it build up to that launch just feels more rewarding. I'm hitting like every pothole today. Something else to expect, because we're on the topic of what to expect, is this car easily recognizable? I honestly think that's something fun about owning a car. With the Chevy Malibu, it was nothing special by any means, but I'm guessing it was that roof line or something about the car. I got a lot of compliments in that car, and I don't know why. It was usually like, you know, older black people, like 40 and up. They always, you know, compliment you on that. But at the same time, they're not the type of compliments that's like, wow, this is a crazy car, like, how did you get that? It's more like, wow, nice car, you know, very nice roof line, something like that. With this car, it's a little bit different. This car is not like, this is definitely an enthusiast car, you know what I mean? Like, you have to know what this car is, or the other person has to know what this car is for you to get a compliment. Because to just regular, you know, anybody who's not into cars, it just looks like any other Volkswagen Jetta. When you pull up with this car for the first time, let's say you just got it, your friend or cousin or family member might be saying like, oh, that's a cool car, my friend has the same car. Meanwhile, their friend has like a Jetta S or a Jetta SE, something like that. This car is not in the same league in terms of people recognizing it as a Golf GTI. Almost everybody knows what a Golf GTI is, if they know even just a little bit about cars. Like a regular person who knows nothing about cars, probably it just looks like a regular. They're just gonna see it and say, oh, it's a Volkswagen, which it is. But they're not gonna see it as like a fast car or a quick car, which is all relevant. I mean, which is all relative anyway. But yeah, it's not as recognizable as a Golf GTI, for example, but it's still recognizable enough. Also, something to expect, if the person who you're talking to does know what this car is, they're almost definitely going to ask you if it's a manual. And for me, I have the automatic version of this car, and not gonna lie, like, anytime I get that question, I always feel not embarrassed, but it's like, I always get this feeling like, dang, I should have got the manual. Like, it's more rewarding if you say, yeah, it is a manual. Even though I don't think I would have taken this car in a manual, just because I saw the DSG is a lot quicker than the manual, and that's what I wanted. I just wanted to have fun. I don't want to have to worry about, you know, my car being a little bit slower than the other version of the car. When it comes to sound, the stock version of this car is definitely on the quieter side. Right now you really can't hear it because I'm in eco mode, but it can get a little bit louder when you're really pressing it, but it's not anything that's gonna, it's not like an Elantra N, Hyundai Elantra N. If you know what that is and you've heard the exhaust for the price point, that's a pretty nice sounding car. It's got the bangs, it's got the pops, you know, it's all there in terms of sound. Also, the stock version of this car does sound different depending on the year you get it. Like 2019 to 2021, I want to say, they're a lot quieter than the 2022 and 2023 version of this car. So keep that in mind too. Something else to keep in mind is that this car does have the sound dock door, which gives you the ability to have fake sound coming through the interior of the car. I don't have it on right now because I'm not in sport mode, but let's just turn it on really quickly. I don't know if you'll even be able to hear it. And of course, like, I run into traffic as soon as I'm about to press the gas down. Wait, listen in 3, 2, 1. That was like I only got to press it for a second, but can you actually hear it? I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Can you hear that? All right, let me throw this back in eco mode. So yeah, the car does have pretty decent sound. I think sound is something that contributes to a car being fun. I like to feel the speed, I like to feel the handling, and I like to hear the engine. Something else about the way this car sounds stock is that it does have a pretty good tone. I like the sound of this car a lot more than I like the sound of some other car stock, just by the tone, at least when it comes to 4-cylinders with turbos. And then while we're on the topic of sound, let's also not forget to mention that this car has the ability for you to upgrade the sound just like any other car. So you can always get modifications to make your car sound louder, to have louder turbo flutter or whatever the case may be. And let's also talk about speed. Now this goes back to another section in the video, comparisons. This is all going to depend. Wow, that is a crazy crash. I just witnessed the crash on the other side of the highway. I don't know, I just got distracted by that. I mean, anybody would get distracted by something like that. But yeah, it's gonna depend on what car you're comparing it to when it comes to speed. Are you comparing it to a Chevy Silverado? Of course it's gonna feel fast. Are you comparing it to a base model Honda Civic? Of course it's gonna feel fast. But if you're comparing it to like a BMW 340i, there's no way this car is gonna feel quicker than that for those newer years. Also on the topic of speed, going back to launch control, this car does have launch control. So when the traction does hook up, let's say you got those tires nice and hot, it's a nice, you know, hot day out, and you just get a perfect launch. This car, it really launches for the price point, of course. Like if you're in, I don't advise this, but you're in the wrong lane, right? It's a 2-lane road on your side, and your lane is closed on the other side of the light. There's another car that might not want you to get in. If you launch the car, you're almost definitely going to be able to overtake the other car. Or if you're in a situation like I'm in right now on the highway and you need to just overtake somebody so you can switch lanes and get off the highway, like it's a pretty easy car to make that happen. This car can beat pretty much any normal car, with the exception of like electric cars in their normal form. Electric cars are just quicker in general. Everybody knows how that works. And you can even beat some sports cars. Like if somebody's got, you know, a non-8-cylinder Mustang, Camaro, you know, something like that. Or even some 8-cylinder cars like a Dodge Charger or Challenger RT. You might be able to beat one of those. Maybe not the whole race, but like at some point, you might be able to take over or overtake that other car. I don't want to make this video too extremely long. Oh, there's a beautiful C8 Corvette up there. It's like all blacked out, black taillights, black spoiler, black everything. I don't want to make this video too extremely long, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here. I hope you got a good enough understanding of whether this car is fun to drive, and I hope it helped you out if you're looking to buy one and this is all the information you needed. Make sure to stick around on my channel. Go ahead and subscribe right now. Go ahead and press the like button and drop a comment down below too, telling me, do you have a Jetta Gli, or you're thinking about getting one, or maybe you're just watching the video just because. I'm going to be making more videos like this in my car. Maybe not all of them are about my car, but I'm making a podcast called Drive With Me. That probably will end up being the name of the podcast. I don't know yet. Hold on. I'm going to go in there a tunnel and I want to hear this right quick. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure to go press the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'm Waveman Mike. Subscribe, comment, and like. Enjoy your day.